Hi, I'm Radical Coder. This is Umbreon. And real quick, before we dive in, if you want to make sure this little dude stays fed and warm, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments what I got right, what I got wrong, or what you want to argue about. Let's go.
Use apps and do all that kind of stuff.
All right, so we got our first topic. It's okay to be gay, right?
No, Coder, it's not. That's not true. I don't know. Yeah, I said the other. I don't know who told you that.
Who told
To
you?
me, I think.
So okay, when we decide whether something's like morally good or wrong, don't we usually like start from a neutral position, right?
Well, I mean, we can go into the morality of that whole thing, but
Well, if we're
I mean, if
talking
you
about whether
want
it's
to,
okay to be gay, isn't that kind of how we have to start with? Start with, what does it mean to be okay? I mean, like, how do
the
you
real
decide
problem is
something's okay or not?
the real problem is it's Google, Apple, and our government that are really questionable
What do you mean
in
by
terms
that?
of all a bunch of different. I mean, I haven't trusted Google and Apple in a long time. That I didn't have a YouTube account. I just made one recently.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure, like the all the data collection and shit. Like, it's obviously can they
Yeah,
definitely know everything about your life, if they want to.
they're yeah, they're far
Palantir.
left sort of. Yeah, they're far left also, I
They're
would
far
say.
left. What do you mean by that?
I don't like their politics. I mean, just even Google, for example, is their search engine is extremely biased and far left, and YouTube is the same way, and Apple is the same way.
The algorithms actually, content-wise, tend to skew right wing.
Uh, w- uh, I don't know if I believe that, but
That's what the data
I
says.
use I use Yandex now.
Yeah, give me one second. I gotta let my dog back in.
Personally, I get recommended so much left-wing BS. You need to use Yandex, Coder. Are you using Yandex right now?
Okay, I couldn't hear you.
Browser?
I couldn't hear you just now,
Are you
but
using you're using Yandex, the Yandex browser?
I never heard of that. I'm using Dia. It's a new browser that a company made a browser called Arc. They made a new one called Dia, and it's pretty
I've
fun.
never heard of it. How new is it?
It's pretty new. I have like beta access to it, so it's only on
Oh,
Mac.
the
I think it's
AI
only on Mac.
browser?
Yeah.
It's only on Mac?
Yeah, right now, as far as I
Yeah,
know.
you told me you were locked into the Apple ecosystem.
I'm deep in
So
it.
Coder,
Yeah.
you need to get liberated because do you want to be homosexual?
Um, I
Are
don't
you or I don't even know.
don't know how to answer that question.
I mean,
I'm not gay, and
what,
I wouldn't.
what about
First of all, it wouldn't be bad if I was. I just don't think it's a bad thing to be gay. There's many gay people who I have no problem with. Like, it just doesn't. I don't know like what degree. I don't know to what degree you genuinely believe, or if you're just using gay as like a kind of memey way. I can't tell. Like how, just because I argue with so many insane people online, I don't know who's actually like genuinely homophobic and who's just kind of like a silly goose. So
well, I wouldn't ever trust my son or daughter around Google and Apple. I don't know, that's a different topic sort of, but I don't my opinions on homosexuality is I think it's something that we should kind of steer clear of societally if
are
possible.
can I ask you? Are you not gay because you think it's like a bad thing, or are you not gay because you're not attracted to men?
Uh I think probably I don't know, both, I guess maybe.
Okay, yeah. For
It's a
me,
hard
it's for
question to
me.
answer.
That's interesting. It's for me. It's very very obvious. It's very easy. It's just I'm not attracted to men. It's actually like really simple, but it's interesting. I think there's a lot of people who might otherwise be open to like being like bisexual and stuff, who just like they think it's such a bad thing to do, so they are. It's I'm not saying this is you, but I
Well,
think I like a lot of people.
do you think
Yeah.
do you think there are so you do agree there are bad things to do? I mean, even from your atheist morality or whatever,
Yeah, of
right?
course. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about well, for me, if I had a son or daughter, I would want to keep them very sheltered. Sheltered. Like they would be, like, their life would be 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 like,
Don't you feel like that would kind of go ahead. Yeah.
I don't trust any of these people. I don't trust Google. I don't trust Apple. I certainly don't trust our government. So I wouldn't want I don't want my son or daughter to be owned by any of those people, even in the slightest. They're all one and the same in my view. They're all like a leftist cult. It basically is, with Google, Apple, Microsoft, the FBI, the CIA, and public school teachers together. That is like a leftist kind of sick derangement group of people.
And
I wouldn't want my son or daughter anywhere near those people, because I'd be very worried about what kind of things they might do or tell them.
So what is it about all those organizations that makes them like leftists in your view?
Well, you can sort of see the political bias in all of them. I think it's different for every sort of company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but do you agree a man shouldn't own an iPhone? Do you agree with that?
I mean, I own an iPhone and I'm very comfortable with my iPhone. It's a pretty secure device. It's pretty dope. It's very smooth user experience.
But what kind of man? Don't you agree that that's kind of feminizing?
To have an iPhone? I don't think so.
Yeah. Or to have a phone at all, maybe, to some degree.
I don't know. I don't tie my masculinity to my like cellular device, I guess, very much. I think maybe I can imagine like different ways that people could use a phone that might be perceived as more masculine or feminine. But just having a phone, I think it's a pretty standard. I mean, especially in like modern society, like it's just kind of like a useful thing to have.
Well, they're basically forcing you to have one now, to some degree. I mean,
well,
it's so sick.
You're kind of forced to have one because you need one to function in society, because like so many things depend on interactivity that you're just kind of at a disadvantage if you don't have one. I agree.
But yeah, you have to link it to your bank account and to link it to all your accounts if you want to function as an online person.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have some phone number to tie your stuff to. And I mean, that's just one further way of them tracking you and everything else. But Coder, why not get on Linux? Why do this with Apple?
I mean, Linux.
Do you agree Apple's far left? Would you agree with that?
I don't know if I'd say that. I'd say they're like generally like socially progressive, at least in their in the rainbow capitalist sense, where like they recognize that it's more profitable to be able to sell to both gay and straight people and people who like regardless. They're kind of agnostic about that.
It's not about profit. I think it's more about power.
I
mean, they want as many people. I mean, they want money, but I mean, gay is like what, 2% of the population or something? Like,
I mean, that's millions of people, dude.
They know that. Well, I don't know. I think Apple should be investigated. I hope Trump investigates them. I bet you could find so much illegal stuff Apple's doing.
Don't you think? Do you think we could find illegal stuff that Trump is doing?
I mean, depends on what you mean by illegal, I guess. The laws have never really been so clear all throughout history, right?
So why are they clear for Apple, but they're not clear for Trump?
Well, I guess you have to just determine what you think is legal or illegal yourself, right?
What?
But for me, I think Trump, like the Democrats are trying to ban men, and manhood, and import illegal aliens. That's my view of them.
How did you come to this? How did you come to these conclusions?
What was your conclusion on your video? Do Democrats hate men?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I think that it was a live stream, so it's I don't expect you to go through the whole thing. But yeah, I don't think Democrats hate men. I think that generally the Democratic policies are more pro men than GOP policies. I think the GOP tends to use a lot of rhetoric. They have like the aesthetic of masculinity, but ultimately their policies are harmful for both men and women.
Pro illegal alien, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Being the new men, and then they lord over everybody They lord over everybody. I mean, do you agree that it would be, if they were to turn everybody gay or confuse you or make you weak or make you question yourself or your sexuality or so on, that would be having weak men is good for our government?
I mean, I know a lot of gay men are really strong.
They're easy to They're easy to control, easy to lord over.
You think gay men are like easier to control?
I think for our government, yeah, I think there's less of a chance that if men are not real men anymore, they'll be willing to go along with whatever kind of BS our government says, or the companies or our government. It's all one and the same, in my view. I think
there is. I mean, there's
I think the whole.
don't get me wrong. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of like nefarious shit, and like profit-seeking behavior, and power-seeking behavior, and consolidating all these things. I just think the most corrupt of these are like currently in office right now. Like the epitome of all these things.
What did Trump do? What did Trump do that was so bad, Coder?
Well, where do we start? I mean, yeah. So like, I mean, he tried. So Biden won this election in 2020, and then Trump.
No, he didn't.
So why do you think he didn't?
Because of all the mail-in and ballot drop box, basically fraud.
Okay,
like
and what
voter fraud, basically.
And who told you that there was all this evidence of voter fraud? Was it Trump?
Well, why is it? Well, yeah, I mean, he's pointed it out, but
yeah, well, he talks about it, but he doesn't actually show the evidence, and he lost like all the cases regarding it. Hang on, I got my dog out.
So why don't they make the process more transparent? Why don't they make it so that there's cameras at every ballot box?
I can't hear you right now.
Why are people? Years ago, and probably still today, people sit outside ballot drop boxes and they guard the drop boxes.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second.
You have videos of people going to ballot drop boxes and just chucking in basically like huge sacks worth of ballots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many. First of all, no one gets a vote on how we vote, even from the jump.
What do you mean by that?
Our politics is getting more and more radical.
I agree with that.
You don't get a vote on how you vote. So, I mean, I never voted to let people vote from mail-ins or drop boxes. I never voted to make that okay.
Yeah, but you vote for representatives that design the policies, or that like you vote for lawmakers who like implement the regulations about these things.
Okay, I don't. Yeah, but I mean, there's not any of them that in the GOP, I guess, is just bitch made, and I have my own problems with them too.
Sure, I agree that GOP's bitch made. I'd even say the Democrats are kind of bitch made.
Well, no, I think the Democrats are just
demons.
runaway criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't trust any Democrats. They hate men. They want to turn all men into women.
Why do you think
they want to groom you into all this stuff? It's just so creepy, man. I can't.
Where do you get like your news from? I'm curious, just in general.
Twitter, but it took me a long time to realize that like the whole thing is just some left-wing like spy game ecosystem, etc.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to
all...
So who are the like the truth tellers?
The truth tellers would be Elon. I think is a truth teller.
You think so?
Well, to some degree, Elon's not perfect. None of them are perfect. I really don't think there is a lot of truth tellers left. I think most truth tellers get shut down, or they get secret weapons used against them, and that's another conversation. The secret weapons. I wonder where they're at with that. The CIA and their mind control. You think the CIA has mind control?
I don't know about mind control exactly. I mean, like there's definitely like there are ways to convince people to act in certain ways, I guess. I don't know if I'd call it mind control.
Have you ever heard the term neuroweapon?
I mean, I guess I've heard. I can conceptualize what it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, basically a weapon to control thoughts or inject thoughts into somebody's mind at any given time. Like, the mind is. But I mean, the whole secret weapons thing. Did you hear that? Kristi Noem just got sick, basically recently.
That's the one who shot her dog, right?
Yeah, she's like the Homeland Defense Secretary or something. I don't know her exact role.
Yeah, dog killer.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong. But she just got sick recently.
Oh
no! Got rushed to the hospital. Yeah, so I mean,
they're trying to take her out. You think?
God only knows who used the secret. It's probably a secret weapon for all I know. They have secret weapons that They can control your mind, inject thoughts into your mind. They have secret weapons to give you cancer, cause you to have strokes, and
So I'm
etc.
just curious, like what makes you so sure that you're not the one who's the victim of these things?
If they were to use one against me, I would. There would be nothing I could do. I guess just
Yeah.
maybe.
Because from where I'm standing, frankly, it sounds like you are. Like you almost sounds like you're a victim of some sort of like brain melting device. Like, to be completely blunt with you.
You really think that I'm like that far off the reservation?
Yeah, actually, genuinely, yeah. I think you're like pretty.
I
I think you're pretty deep down in some. And you're not alone. Like, there's a lot of people who believe a lot of stuff you do. But I genuinely think like you've got like not like literal brainworms, but like people gave you a lot of like really fucked up information and convinced you of a lot of different things that I think are kind of skewing your view of reality. And it's kind of sad, frankly. And I don't mean that in like condescending way. I know that sounds condescending. There's no like, but I really genuinely don't mean it that way. Like I like you. Like, we've talked several times a lot over the years. And like I don't have any like negative feelings about you. This conversation actually makes me like genuinely sad.
Well, I mean, there's nothing I can do. This is just how I feel. I felt this way for some time. It would be nice if Google and Apple kind of rolled back their criminality in the next few years, and then they could start to maybe. I think they're failing. I think both of them are failing as companies.
Like, what are they doing criminally?
I think Apple is something that I do not trust them. Criminally, I think if you investigated them, you could find a lot of I mean, spying is one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think you could find a lot of sort of a very kind of strange, unmonitored environment that pushes you to a certain direction that is a false sort of place. I don't know how to describe it. I don't trust any of the apps. I don't trust giving them anything. Tim Cook has pronouns in his Twitter bio.
Yeah, but I feel like when we like, there are real concerns about like privacy and like data, like people like companies like Palantir and the stuff that the Trump administration is using now. And there was, I mean, the government was using it before Trump also, but it's obviously going to be ramped up now. But like these companies that like their job is to aggregate our data and basically like track and predict crime and all sorts of creepy Minority Report things. But like, so I think there's a lot of like real concerns about like the overabundance of data that we have like let these companies get on us, and there is like caution to be had there. But like when you go to the when then you go like, oh, Tim Cook has pronouns in his bio, I'm like, well, that I don't care about that. That part doesn't.
You don't think that's you don't think that's very creepy?
I mean, like I as an educator, like I taught, you know, like I taught online a lot over the last like 5 years, and like especially when I taught like high school students, like there were people who used pronouns on their Zoom calls, and I also did.
Because Google and Apple groom them. Because Google and Apple and our government groom them to do that. It's so creepy and
well, I guess
sick.
What's well, if there's people who like prefer to use certain pronouns, and you might not always assume what those pronouns are just by a first glance. Like, what's so terrible about like people communicating those things?
We don't need this like leftist pronoun world.
According to who?
I don't think we need it. I think it's just creepy and too far and intrusive of our government and all of our companies. But they already have been going down that rabbit hole for a long time. I mean, think about if you have a daughter and she is on her iPhone and she goes to the App Store, and like to some degree there's so many parents that are just okay with leaving their sons and daughters with an iPhone.
Yeah, people should be careful about what like they should definitely set like parental controls and stuff on their phones and tablets. I agree.
But like TikTok alone, that is too much for me. I would never want to have my son or daughter on TikTok. I would never want to have them on any of the apps that Apple puts out there.
To some degree, I'm with you there. Like I would want again, like parental controls. I think are really important.
Because they're all LGBT friendly. They're brain slop. They're like made by questionable people in California who probably shouldn't be making products at the national level for our country.
See,
I mean, Apple has to go away. I hope Apple fails.
I mean, they should. I mean, companies fail. It happens all the time.
But it's sad because you have to levy your own money in some sort of. You have to levy your own money in data, basically, and like YouTube has such a monopoly. I could spend all day on Twitter. I have before. Twitter is a secure place.
Yeah, I definitely believe that you spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Yeah, it's just I think Apple and Google should be. I mean, Trump and Elon promote them, which is part of the reason why I hate Trump and Elon. Elon tweeted the other day about the iPhone. He promotes the iPhone because he's just so dumb. Elon doesn't quite get how criminal the Democrats actually are. If he got it, then he would treat it more like for instance, Elon gives Starlink to the Ukraine when Americans have to pay. That is a bitch-made move. I would not give Ukraine a single anything. I would let them fail.
Why?
And
why do you feel that way about Ukraine? I'm curious. That's an interesting position.
Because we as Americans shouldn't have anything to do with the Ukraine. It's not our problem. Make Europe deal with it.
Well, here's why.
Should have never.
Can I give a case for why it is our problem?
For global security reasons or whatever the hell the CIA is going to pretend.
Well, to be more specific, like if Russia decides after they take Ukraine to invade a NATO country, suddenly the United States is involved.
We shouldn't even be involved with NATO necessarily either.
Okay, but as it stands, we are involved in NATO, and I think it's a good thing generally. So if Russia did move through Ukraine and then starts attacking a NATO country, suddenly we're at war with Russia, right?
Maybe.
So isn't it preferable then, if we don't want to be at war with Russia, which I would prefer not be at war with Russia, that we support Ukraine, who's being invaded?
Russia doesn't have the resources. They can't fight all of Europe, Coder. They would lose if they had to fight all of Europe.
Well, it seems like they're doing okay in Ukraine right now. Frankly, they're doing worse, obviously a lot worse than they thought. They were going to get on there in like 2 weeks, right? The whole plan was initially, it's been like 2 years or longer.
Coder, do you plan on having your own family?
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, I think so. I think I'd be a good dad.
Okay, so you do. You do. Most of the Democrat fathers I've met are so creepy, and I mean, most of them have daughters because they're kind of weaker men, and God isn't going to give them a son.
Oh, that's it. That makes sense. Yeah.
And then I don't know what Democrat dads, I guess, want. They're okay with their daughters kind of getting with an illegal alien. They're okay with that. Maybe it's a lot of them. It seems.
Interesting.
I think that's their ultimate fetish in some ways. I really don't know. They're all so creepy. You know, I've seen this dad that he works at Microsoft, and he has daughters, and I read his Twitter, and it's the most creepy kind of. I don't know how he's a full-on Democrat. Basically, I think the Democrats shouldn't even really be a group of people. I think they should be there shouldn't be a Democrat political party. It shouldn't even exist.
But we would keep the Republican Party?
Well, we would the Republicans would,
because I kind of view the Democrats as like a necessary defense mechanism against the Republicans, which I think are more actively destructive to humanity. I mean, they're the one of the few political parties in the world who doesn't believe in climate change.
No, I don't know if I believe in climate change either. That just seems like a code to give our government more of our money or something. I mean. Well,
have you ever looked into why people think we have climate change? Like, you ever looked at the NASA explanation? I think there's a page on NASA that's how we know, and it actually breaks down a lot of the details. We could walk through it together if you wanted.
That's a Coder. I don't need to be hear about some climate change scam.
Well, what if,
Are you
what
okay
if
with
hang on, what if you learn about it and you realize it's not a scam? What if there's actually like
would
real reasons to be concerned about such a thing?
would you no, you're not going to educate me on climate change, Coder. It's
Okay,
just
I'm
so
sorry.
I just
I
want to know from you.
didn't. My bad.
I just want to know from you. If would you be okay having a gay son?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it would suck for him
Would you,
because we have like a homophobic society and like people who don't think it's okay, like you, unfortunately. But yeah, absolutely. I would love my son
do you
if I had a
think
gay son. Yeah.
do you think most gay people have a good mental state?
I think less so when there's conversations like this happening.
Like,
But
do you think being gay is good for your mind or like bad for your
I
mind?
think being oppressed for being gay is bad for your mind.
Well, I wouldn't want my son to even really know anything about homosexuality or anything the Democrats wish or desire to teach, and they desire to teach you you're a racist and pride is the greatest thing ever and all the other sick things they want to teach your sons and daughters.
So I mean, I don't know if pride's the greatest thing ever. I think it's a useful thing when there's specific like legal attempts to oppress gay people and like other.
But do you realize I don't want anybody from our government or Google or Apple to ever teach my son or daughter about the wonders or how great pride is or anything like that? Like, no, I mean,
I get. Yeah. I guess. I mean, frankly, I don't really care. Like, if you don't want your kids to like know about gay people, like, I honestly, I mean, like,
so
I
you're
think it's
saying
sad that you're like that upset about it. But like, I don't care if your kids go to school and like learn that gay people exist. I'd prefer that, frankly.
oh, really, really, even though they're my kids, you think that for our government, you think it's appropriate for our government to teach that
Yeah,
pride or whatever
just to
is
be clear, just like I think that it'd be better for schools to teach evolution, even though there are people who don't believe in evolution.
okay, but evolution is not akin to morality or anything like that
I,
at all.
I don't see what being gay has to do with morality outside of a religious lens.
I think being gay is not good for you.
Um,
That's my view. I think homosexuals tend to have a lot of mental problems. They tend to be. It's just not a good way to live your life. You shouldn't want to be that way.
well, I think that some people just are that way.
But uh, they just are that way, huh?
Yeah, I think
They can
so.
get over it. They can get over it. They can go and they can
What makes
know
you so
like, hey,
sure?
I shouldn't be being gay. I should be a man. And like that's their mindset. Like they should just
Well, hang on.
the
Why do you think
the
that?
few that are that way. We shouldn't try to make any more people gay.
Why are you so
We shouldn't
confident?
try to.
Why are you so confident that they can change that?
They could make because I think they have free will. They can make their own decisions.
Their decisions about like what kind of person they're attracted to?
Yeah, they can.
I don't feel like like when I see like a pretty girl, like I don't feel like I'm like deciding whether or not I think she's pretty, personally. Like I don't feel like I'm choosing to
Well,
find her attractive. I'm just like I see a pretty girl and I'm like, oh damn, look at that.
well, okay.
It's a nice dress.
Just for an example, you could see a trans woman.
Hmm.
And I mean that's another whole thing, the whole trans thing. And
Yeah.
going past that's even they go even past just gay or whatever. They want to make your son a woman, literally.
Oh,
And that Tim Waltz guy wants to put tampons in your son's bathroom so
you know
he
that's
knows
you know
his
that's not true,
place
right?
in the world.
You know that's not true.
These people are extremely criminal, Coder.
You know the Tim Waltz stuff, that narrative that he wants to put like tampons in the boys' bathroom is actually like a lie, right?
Everything tell you, I bring up this Doge too. All the Democrats always say Doge was a scam or lie too. They
Well,
make up so much of this. Everything the Republicans say seems to be a scam or a lie or something.
wouldn't it be crazy if the Republicans did a lot of scamming?
I don't think they do, Coder. I
I know
really
you.
don't
I
think they do.
know. I know you don't. But I'm just saying, wouldn't it be crazy if they did? Wouldn't that be a crazy thing to find out? How would you feel if you found out tomorrow that the Republicans have actually been doing a lot of scamming, a lot of
How do
lying?
you view it? How do you view it? You view it that these are the kind of the lower kind of people in our society, and they need help, and the rich, mean people aren't helping them, and so you'll stand up and you'll help them. Is that like I just want to
Wait,
know from your
what do you mean by
from
that? Wait,
your
how do we? I feel like we just moved topics like significantly. What do you mean by that?
the minorities, they need help. They're not doing well. They need somebody to help them, and you kind of step in, and because the
Oh
rich aren't going
no.
to help them, the rich want to.
I don't
You
see myself.
what?
I don't. I feel like I get characterized a lot as this like the white savior position because I advocate for things like critical race theory. But for me it's more about like because I come from like a computer science background, so I'm very much like a systems thinker, and like when I think about so like to do like systems and from a math like as a math fan growing up, I really like math. So like when I'm learning about a topic, I want to like take in a bunch of information, like things that are confirmable, like factual information, and then like it's like there's like a puzzle based on all this information. Like try to explore like like how to understand like whatever context we're looking at. And so like when I think about like something like critical race theory, it when like I'm looking at the facts on the ground, which are that like race is not like this biological thing. It's actually been like imposed on people through legislation, and it blocked people from having specific access to specific things based on their being perceived to be part of a certain race. And like so that it then like all of those pieces together combine for me to like understand why like people who were denied access, people whose parents were denied access to go to like college are probably are probably going to be in a more difficult position. Or if they were denied access to like loans, like redlining, they're going to be in a worse position now. And then this stuff is like not that long ago.
What about the white people that have to pay for all the minorities and etc.? What about their position?
Well, I think that in
And
in
have to live with
general,
them and put up
like
with them.
if we have like massive wealth disparities and we have like really like uber rich people like Elon Musk, for example, like I feel like these people are perfectly capable of paying taxes to like support the country that they are thriving in, right? Like because I don't think they like it's not good to live in a country, or I don't think it's good to live in a country where we have people like living like shitting on the streets and stuff. I think it sucks. I think it's really upsetting to see. Like I've lived in a lot of cities and I've walked past a lot of homeless people, and it's really depressing. Like it sucks ass. I don't like it. And I would yeah.
Who do you blame Elon for the homeless people?
No, but I think that like there are better ways that we could use tax dollars to like make less homeless people. I think there's probably better ways to do it than what we do now.
You're aware our government is like broke. Our whole country's on welfare, and we're already
don't
overtaxed. You don't think so?
I don't think that I think that Trump just gave like a
And
massive tax cut to
say
the wealthiest people in our country.
you say use tax dollars. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they create the jobs. They create the jobs. Do you,
I agree.
it's just so insane. I don't know what is too far for you, Coder. When we
Whoa.
pay 800% tax and we give all of our money direct payments to illegal aliens, we have nothing, and illegal aliens come over here and take everybody's daughter. Would that make you happy? I mean, at what point is it? I genuinely wonder with this about a lot of even the leftist dad that works at Microsoft, and he's friends with the FBI. I got doxxed. My Google account got doxxed by the Marines because I was a radical political person, and I met some FBI agent in an elevator who had met Obama.
Yeah.
Because I'm apparently radical. I mean, I'm very anti-America because I feel like I can kind of see through the lines and really kind of realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people are just, I don't want to share any sort of country with them. I don't want to be part of their thing. I wish the Republicans would do that, be more anti-America. But of course, they're not allowed to be for some reason.
From where I'm standing, the Republicans, especially right now, the Republican Party seems extremely anti-American. They don't seem to like the Constitution very much.
Though.
They don't seem to believe in the Constitution. They seem to be trying to stress test it at every possible corner. They're constantly trying to
They're not praising Putin. They're not coming out. They're still a lot of the GOP is still flying the American flag, living on
Yeah, of
some
course.
crazy dream like that. It's
But
sad to see.
I mean, they praise America like aesthetically, like but like, I mean, there are a lot of Republicans who said they would have rather had Vladimir Putin as president than Kamala Harris. Like that was a real thing. The guy who got shot at Trump's rally, the guy who God moved the bullet away from Trump to kill, to protect Trump, to make sure he got a second term. Like that guy tweeted, like, maybe it was a joke. I don't know the specific thing. But he basically tweeted that he retweeted something that said they'd rather have Putin than Kamala as president. Like and it's like a common, if you there's like interviews of like people at Trump rallies who were asked, like, and they just think Kamala is so evil that they would rather have Putin, like literally.
Look, I think Kamala whatever was she was better than Biden, I would say.
I agree.
Biden was at the lowest point, my opinion. But the Democrats need to be just more like, we're gonna help people, but we're not gonna go too far.
Mm-hmm.
That would be maybe something that I could get along with, sort of like what Obama did in 2008 when he got elected. When he ran on, he would say things all the time about illegal immigration, but nowadays they want you to just pay. They want to all have you pay healthcare for illegal aliens, and so, I mean, you agree Americans should come before illegal people?
I think that states have the right to have like sanctuary cities and stuff, and those people would then be, or like how, like those states can decide how they want to disperse those funds.
Okay.
And I think it's reasonable. Hang on, I think it's reasonable if you have a lot of people who might be undocumented, who need healthcare, like like if. Like I think there's obviously I would prefer like a naturalization process.
Not undocumented. You're using the wrong term. I mean,
It's.
you agree they are illegal aliens.
I mean, technically, I guess to some degree, yeah.
Okay, thank God. Not undocumented.
I mean, I think those are like synonyms. I think it's not a lie. It's just a different word, like to describe the same thing.
We need to know who everybody is. How is it fair that they can come in and nobody knows who they are, but I have to get an ID? It feels like the laws are just for the citizens. It doesn't feel like the laws really apply to anybody else.
Hang on, give me 1 second. I gotta walk away for a second to let Umbreon in. Give me 1 second.
Oder is somebody who wants us to live in a very sad country. They're not all undocumented. So Coder seems to want to expand taxes. He thinks it's reasonable to pay for undocumented people's health care when he knows that there are Americans who are having very little, living on the streets. Coder would tax the rich so much that they wouldn't even be able to function or exist, even though the rich create everything good.
Have you ever
everything good, Coder, everything good is created by the rich people.
I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I think rich people. When you said that like rich people create jobs and stuff, that's what makes them rich. Is they made jobs work, so that a lot of other people can do the work that actually makes them rich, right?
Yeah, well, they're the boss.
Yeah, and so they depend on having like a society where people can spend money and purchase things from their companies so that they can be rich, and like there's a what's the word, there's like a something altruism or something, like a selfish version of altruism where it's kind of like it benefits me as a Bill Gates character, you know, like they view it like the benefits of, you know, at least a slightly more taken care of population, that like they can make more money and they can live a more pleasant life without like creating a completely like peasant class where like people are gonna want his head, you know.
Okay, what do you want? What was the summary of what you just said there?
Like I think that it's better for rich people to not have a massive class of completely like homeless people and stuff. And so like I think that it's reasonable to expect them to, you know, pay something into the system that they benefit so much from.
Well, they do pay into the system, but they are paying too much, and it's, I mean, the
According
reasonable,
to who?
or that we have an unlimited peasant class because we just keep bringing in illegal aliens. We have Democrats that let them live. That we're not serious about really getting people jobs or providing real opportunity. Our country is bankrupted, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And you're here saying like we need to raise the taxes on the rich, when our government is just clearly screwing us around every corner. They don't listen to us. We don't want the illegals. We want to use our money for our own people. And
okay, but the Republicans don't even support that. Like, so you say like, oh, like take care of Americans first or whatever. Like that's a common talking point.
They want to use the money for themselves. The Republicans want to use the money for themselves.
Well, yeah,
I agree about that.
Well, yeah, exactly. So like that's why it's frustrating that like that's the party that you would vote for to like stop money going towards illegal immigrants or whatever, and instead going to Americans, but it's not going to go to Americans because they vote against all those policies.
Okay, well, yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I mean, ultimately, I'm okay with the Democrats to some degree. I mean, I wouldn't want my son or daughter, like I said, near any of their companies or anything they have, really. I wouldn't want them to go to public school. Of course, I would want to send them to some private Republican school I know is going to be good. But if the Democrats just stopped going so far out there and they just kind of reeled it back in over these next few years, but I don't know how what they're gonna do about the weapons. Like I said,
like the mind control weapons.
Yep. As the weaponry grows stronger and now it's at its peak. I mean, a mind control weapon could be stronger than a nuclear bomb, and I'm pretty sure they already have mind control. At least I believe that.
Yeah, the longer this conversation goes on, the more convinced I am that they do. Yeah.
Well, why do you notice here? Want to notice something interesting? We name one politician that's ever spoken about weapons, that ever speaks about weapons, and generally, none of them will ever utter a word about weapons. They'll not utter. None of them will ever utter a word about weapons.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I guess I don't listen to a lot of military voices as much as I. Who's this? We got a new person here. I guess it's a public server.
If those kind of weapons...
Hang on, I gotta figure out who's this person is, if I need to kick them or not.
If those kind of weapons get in the hands of Democrats that are radicalized by whoever else, I mean, it's scary how many people are left-wing on like Instagram and all these other platforms. It's why I avoid it all, really. I try to avoid TikTok and Instagram and all of it, Apple, Google, Microsoft, all the mainstream companies, which is our government in a sense. Here I am like using Discord though, and I'm on YouTube and everything else. So, although I try to avoid this kind of stuff.
Who do we got here? Who's the troll face person? I mean, introduce yourself.
Hey Radical, this is RK Man Goes. This is my gamer tag on here. I'm sure you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Your name sounds RK Mangoes. Okay, that sounds familiar. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Florida. I live out in Nebraska.
Sorry, I meant
all over the East Coast.
Fair enough. But I meant like online, like what communities or whatever did you find?
Oh, Speakeasy, Crucible.
Okay.
From that section.
Okay.
To be very clear, I'm not a conservative. I identify more of a classical liberal, center liberal. So.
Okay. I view these classical liberals like yourself right now, like people who actually believe in like liberals, like capital L liberalism, I guess, as like as allies in this moment, especially.
Do you feel like you already paid too much in tax? Do you feel like you're overtaxed already? Where do you live? What state?
Florida.
I guess you don't have to say. Okay, you live in Florida, so you're very lucky then. You're
Yeah,
very,
to some
very
degree,
lucky.
yeah.
You have the greatest guy, Ron DeSantis. You have the what a good guy. You like DeSantis?
I can't say he's my favorite.
There was a
Everything-
shit show when Rick Scott was our governor. I'm
Sure.
born and raised in Florida, so I can tell you some about it too.
Florida is a lot of good people live out in that state. A lot of good Trump's people, and
A lot of
so
rural horse
maybe you don't
farms.
feel that bad. Have you seen that? Gas is $5.50 in California, in Seattle. Like, do you realize that the West Coast is going to hell right now due to Democrat policies?
You think so? Those are like the economic
Yes.
powerhouses of our country.
Bad leadership, yeah. No, I would. I'd
Both
hate
a
to live out
double-edged
there.
sword.
Sure.
Everything's locked up at Target. There's crime all over. There's nothing good. It's just such slop. Just hippie, like, land of, like, gay hippie slop.
Well,
So, Coder, what is your... so, do you think the citizens are overtaxed? Just yes or no on that. Do you think the citizens are overtaxed?
the citizens. I mean, to some
because-
degree, for what we get out of it, yeah, to some degree, yeah.
It's one thing to say you want to tax the wealthy or whatever, but why is it that there's so many of these day-to-day taxes on every purchase, every transaction? You don't think this is like our government going overboard? I mean, they already have more rights over us as citizens than what I would ever be comfortable allowing them to have.
So this is a genuine question. This is my ignorance, and maybe both of you know the answer to this question. It might be a really stupid question, but are companies obligated to charge their customers sales tax, or could they, in theory, pay that?
I think tax is more of like a regulation of the government. That's how it's able to collect revenue from the citizen to maintain the infrastructure of the body that is of the government, I believe.
Yeah,
anything you hear tax, that's related to the government.
Yeah, I agree. I understand that, but what I'm saying is like do companies, or like, is there laws that, like, when you're buying something from a company, that like you necessarily have to have the buyer pay the sales tax, or are companies allowed to like pay that sales tax? Because it would seem like if you're complaining, if like to Dalmatian, what Dalmatian Dog was saying, was complaining about like sales taxes and stuff, but like in theory,
the companies are too greedy. Are you saying the companies are too greedy right now?
What?
Is that what the case you're
I mean,
trying
of
to make?
course, yeah. I mean, well, it's not they're greedy. It's that they're incentivized.
There's some companies, no doubt, that are greedy.
No, they're all on. No, they're not greedy. They're all
God.
on welfare, man.
I said some
Look at how.
companies.
There's very few. They're all broke as hell. Look at when you go to like the gas stations. The Walmart has got a letter out. Their Walmart normally lights up, and a few letters are out. Every business is like just such slop. It's all so cheap. It's not high quality.
You do know that big tech and big pharma are the two leading industries in this country. They make up the biggest net total of any other fields out there. You do know that, right?
Look at even the air quality in Walmart and Target is so low. You think like, Oder, they are not wealthy enough to pay these companies. You already have them on the last leg, literally. Like all of these big retailers, specifically.
Yeah. Do you,
Real quickly, Radical, we kind of gotten away from your question. You're basically asking, do they pay a tax for the profits that they get for selling their company? Was that the question you're trying to
No,
ask?
sorry. I guess what I'm asking, and I think I'm just asking, like, when you pay sales tax, right? Like at a store, like
Yeah.
I'm asking if the store is obligated to make you pay that, or if in theory they could pay the sales tax, which I think they're allowed to pay the sales tax, right? But
Theoretically, if they lower the price of the
I think
item,
they're obligated to force the customers. I think so. I think that's enforced by the IRS. I think so. Don't take me up on it.
yes, there has to be sales tax, but it can be mitigated if they were to lower the cost of the item, I suppose. But Coder, it's just, even in online transactions, everything I buy from Amazon and eBay, I get hit with an extra tax. And so they even want to tax poor people, Coder. Like, whenever the Democrats say tax the rich or whatever, why does sales tax even exist then for just people that are... They just want to get every single dollar from every single person that they can. They want as much power and control over you and your family as they possibly can get. They want to...
It's basically the will to power of what you're speaking to, that they're in the pursuit of power. That's what motivates them, you know. You know, when it comes to money, you know, basically the emphasis of this is money, right? You know, and, you know, the root of all kinds of evil is the love of money. So you do see a lot of that going on. Now, earlier I said that some companies have a lot of money. They're just greedy, you know, Johnson & Johnson, Alphabet, Google, you know, those just to name off, you know, they have a lot of money. Berkshire Hathaway, they have a lot of money. And the issue with that circumstances is that when a company has a lot of money, they're able to influence legislation benefits their company and not the constituents of which the representatives are there to pass laws. That is the biggest issue. Taxing the rich is not going to do anything. It's mainly pretty much getting out of big money out of Congress, you know, lobbying groups. And that's not going to happen with the culture that we have here. You know, that's how you're going to help reduce the issues going on with our political culture with our government. There's corruption in the government and this is on both sides. I'm not, you know, Democrats right now, they're the loudest at the moment right now. But I mean, this
Democrats are the loudest right now.
Continuing thing for the last several decades.
Like when we're talking about corruption, I look at as look at the current Trump administration. It's just full of all these like grifters and loyalists.
Thank God.
Well, that's in any faction. That's in any faction, Coder.
No, but not like this, right? Like hang on. The current FBI director, Kash Patel. You guys know he wrote a book called The Plot Against the King, where he rewrote January 6th as a storybook, a children's storybook, right?
Comey with his, like, he's wearing a pride shirt, like,
you're comparing a pride shirt to literally the FBI director having written a book to rewrite a violent event in American history to tell children that the plot was actually against Trump rather than a plot that Trump was executing.
Well, so you're saying that you try to act like it was so bad that it was violent.
I mean,
what are people supposed to do, Coder? Should they just go down to our government? Should they just stand by and just wait, and our government
stand back and stand by
all their rights? Stand back and stand by. Our government takes all their rights, takes all their money, owns their sons and daughters.
Okay, so with
Trump, the problem with that is that the FBI were in that crowd leading to people into the Capitol. Okay. So the biggest question is, why would the government overthrow the government? I mean, there was testimony in the Senate hearings to the judiciary where they were talking about that, and the FBI said that we can't
they had
answer.
Informants.
We're still in the investigation, which is basically a filibuster tactic, you know, to avoid directly answering that question.
Okay, well,
we had FBI in that crowd.
Okay, well, I'm sure there were FBI people, maybe. But, like, what we also know is that there were Proud Boys and Oath Keepers who explicitly outlined their plan to do what they did on January 6th. Like, they planned it out, like, meticulously.
Kash Patel's a good guy, Coder.
Doesn't necessarily mean that Trump encouraged them or told them, hey, you guys, this is what I want you to do, you know? I mean, I'm not denying what you say that is true. I'm just saying that I wouldn't go as far as out there that Trump gave him a phone call and say, "Hey, this is what I want you to do. Stand by because you're up next."
Well, he probably didn't make a phone call, but like he okay, hang on. Trump did make phone calls, like asking for votes from the Georgia, whatever the person he called in Georgia, but also like I don't think Trump needs to make the call explicitly if there was a coordinated plan between Trump and a bunch of other people around Trump who could have also been in contact with these people and who all knew that they were sending fake electors to the Capitol on January 6th to try to pressure Mike Pence to not certify the election in this like plot that they carefully outlined, and then they'd all talked about the explicit plan to if Mike Pence did not do that, how they would go into the Capitol and try to convince him, quote unquote. What's up,
Well, in the
Brynjolds?
reports of the January 6th committee, they actually concluded that the government, the mayor of D.C., Bowser, and Nancy Pelosi denied Trump's request of X amount of National Guard troops because of the crowd for that next day. I mean, you can have your opinion on the matter, but there's record of what happened, and a lot of and unfortunately a lot of people on the left are willing to ignore that because they hate Trump so much. I won't consider myself a Trump supporter. It's just that I've been paying attention to seeing how things are shifted now, and it's not good. It's not good right now. You know,
I agree, it's not good right now, but maybe not for the exact same reasons.
Dissent, you get kicked out of that faction. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people left the left and went on to the right as a temporal alliance, if you will. It's rather interesting seeing a migration from the left to the right.
Odor, can you tell?
Hang on, real quick. Can I respond real quick to that? Because I think, to be honest, I think that there is a lot of top-down, very well coordinated, very effective disinformation that steers people away from the left and towards the Republican Party specifically.
Can you tell me? I'm just curious. Name one Republican that you like. Like, you say you don't. Trump is a fascist. Trump is too much for you. Sure, but is there one single Republican politician that you think like maybe that guy's not so bad?
Off the top of my head, I mean, I don't think they're all evil. I just don't. I don't have a particular one that I'm like fond of. Like, but I don't feel. I'm not like super fond of a lot of Democrat politicians. There are ones I like, but I don't have a good answer to that question.
Mm.
What up, Brynjolds?
What about John Kennedy, senator at Louisiana? What do you think about him? I'm just asking.
I don't know much about him.
What about Ron Paul, Kentucky?
I've heard good things, mixed things. I guess I'd be open. Again, I'm not open. I don't think like every Republican's evil or anything. Like, or even like most Republicans.
You just think Trump specifically is. I mean, I try to wonder, is it just Trump sometimes the Democrats hate, or is it just all Republicans? It's hard for me to kind of really...
It is especially Trump. But, I mean, the Republicans kind of paved the way for Trump.
Well, also, all of the Republicans, like, completely and totally cuck out to everything that Trump wants. So, I mean, naturally, if you're going to be cucking out to an evil figure, people are going to think you're evil.
I'm going to have to push back on that, because there's like a little civil war going on within the Republican Party at the moment, because Trump is...
I'm going to go get some water while you guys sort this out.
He's not fulfilling some of his campaign promises, like he'll resolve the war in Palestine and Israel, Ukraine and Russia. He hasn't done that. Iran, he hasn't. He engaged us into like a serious conflict that can lead to World War III. Even though that he ambushed Zelensky in the Oval Office, saying you're going to instigate World War. So there is a little bit of a battle in that faction right now, because they like Trump, but they're like, Trump, the fuck are you doing? That's where they're at right now. There's a little bit of a battle going on within their ranks.
A little bit.
And it's actually been that way since Trump got him. And it's been that way since Trump got elected. Like, you got the old guard Republicans, like Mitch McConnell, did not like Trump because he basically did whatever the fuck he wanted. He said whatever the fuck he wanted, and that was the problem to the old guard. The new conservatives were like about,
Do you disagree that the vast majority of the Republican Party curtailed
Don't listen to
about what Donald Trump wants?
You're good, polygraph. Mic volumes are all weird. Oh, I can probably fix that. Apparently, mic volumes are weird, but I think I can fix that.
I would definitely say that if you're saying that the majority of the Republican Party, leans to what Trump wants to do, I would definitely say that. I would definitely, because I see it. You
like
know,
vast majority though, vast majority.
Yeah.
Like there's not
Like,
any
overwhelmingly.
meaningful pushback that most Republicans will
Yeah.
ever give to him, and that the most that he'll probably see in this term from Republicans is like the kind of slight pushback that he got from the tariff thing. It's probably all he's gonna see. Even most of like the
that was
thinking about voting against him on the big beautiful bill eventually fell in line, except for Thomas Massey, who had like a targeted smear campaign against him.
Well, it also happened to Ron DeSantis, too, when he was running for president of the Republican primary ticket, and Trump was like, he's a traitor, and he's not an American. You know, he was like, dude, stop it. Stop.
That's true,
I
but
voted
now-
for Trump, though. To me, it was like a better alternative, but, you know,
Now Ron
Trump does
DeSantis-
do smear campaigns.
Now Ron DeSantis is literally giving Donald Trump tours of Alligator Alcatraz, so I mean, he fell in line too.
Well, yeah, there is an issue with Trump has his problems. His brand is that he wins, and when he doesn't think he's going to win, then it's, you know, you see that side of Trump, you know. Like, take for an example Barack Obama, you know, the correspondence dinner. He said to Trump that really irked him, you know, I am that you'll never be president of the United States. You know, oh man, he was like, hold my beer. Holy shit.
I heard some January 6th talk. I felt like I needed to come see what that was about.
Yeah, it comes in waves. We've been kind of all over the
Kind of
place.
sad about you guys don't like January 6th. So
it was
what,
evil.
what
I think,
what do you
in
what
my
do you
opinion-
Go ahead if you want to. I just want to ask them. I mean, what do they want people to do when you don't feel like you have any sort of recourse, and you feel like your government's screwing you with mail-in fraud, ballot drop box fraud, overtaxation? They're treading on you in a sense, right? Remember,
I think you're
don't tread on
making
me. I'm kind of
you're making some good points about what the people there thought. Like the people there thought that a bunch of really fucked up things had gone down, and they thought that they had no other option. I agree, but who told them that, and did that match up with the reality on the ground? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, like the clear answer is we don't want the president lying about election fraud claims. We don't want him using those claims of election fraud to file phony lawsuits. We don't want him to use those phony lawsuits as justification to steal the election, and then we don't want people to try and vote the guy who did all of that back in. Pretty simple.
So what's the difference between illegal and legal processes?
So you two just want to you
One
two
follows
would
the
just
law.
prefer Trump to shut
Here's the
fuck up
problem.
and-
Here's a problem with your logic here, Rainian. I can grant that the optics of the January 6th did not look good of the given presupposition that he was trying to overturn the election, and then his appeals in the courts of that. I can grant you that. You have, if we're going to go on that, then you have to concede that the Democrats did the same thing, and after Trump got elected, even before before his first inauguration, Queen Castro of Texas, U.S. Senator, even said that we must impeach Trump. You had members of the Democratic Party already calling for the impeachment of Trump before his first day in office, and you had Jamie Raskin, Don Cicilline, Maxine Waters, Joe Neguse, and Stacey Plaskett challenging the results of the election of 2015. Also, Hillary came out and said that it was rigged an election, and I should have won.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about.
It totally matters. If you're going to hold one group, if you're going to hold a group of certain standards, you got to hold yourself to a standard.
I'm holding the same standard. I don't care about questioning the election. I never cared about that. That's why the 1960 electors, were okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to challenge the election. You're not allowed to lie about it. You're not allowed to break the Electoral Count Act to challenge the election. You're not allowed to say that the vice president has power that he doesn't have in order to challenge the election. If Donald Trump just said, like, hey, you know, I think that the election was stolen, and then when his attorney general came up and said, hey, this thing that you're saying is not true, and he was like, oh, okay, oops, my bad. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give a fuck about that at all then.
Well, you bring it up, though, you got to bring it up on the other side, too, because it's not Trump did what? Not do what the Democrats did?
Trump was lying about his election fraud claims. That's the difference.
And there's evidence he was lying because the people around him were telling him that what he was saying was not true.
Well, there's definitely election interference.
No, there wasn't. There's also
I'll prove it to
reporting
you.
of the people. I'd love to see you try. There's reporting of the people around him where he was watching Sidney Powell on Tucker Carlson's show, and then like the general consensus is that Tucker Carlson absolutely annihilated her claims of election fraud, and then he leaned over to his advisor and he was like, "This girl's crazy," and then like a couple weeks later he went on to repeat the same exact claim.
So, when let's be clear what I'm saying here: election interference, not election fraud. Election interference during the pandemic. People, there is a complete bias of one class of people. If you're a conservative, you got censored the most. If you're a Democrat liberal, you had free reign of expressing freedom of speech. No, that is a very true fact. And also, 2 years in 2023. Frances Hagel, whistleblower for Facebook, even said it herself that the Facebook social media platform was also used to create coup d'états like Sri Lanka, Myanmar.
Myanmar has
social media
absolutely nothing to do
platforms.
with the 2023 election.
Yeah, no, it's actually directly linked. Facebook was partly responsible for the Myanmar chaos.
Okay, that has
Social
nothing to
media
do with the
platforms
election.
has a great influence.
Yeah, sure,
yeah,
but
it
the
does.
social media companies also have the right to. Real quick. The social media companies have the right to set the TOS that they want to, right? Like if they say no COVID misinformation, then that's not election interference.
So, when does it become a point that when a private company becomes the editor? Do they still enjoy the same rights as a private company if they act as an editor, like the Washington Post, which is not a private company; they're an editing company.
Is Twitter a private company?
That's not the question. The question is that if a social media platform like Facebook or Twitter is a private company, at which point does it become from a private company to an editing company? An editor, that they edit stories. They pick and choose which narratives that they go. At which point
Twitter
do they
doesn't do
become a
top-down
narrative?
reporting? I don't probably because like Twitter doesn't have journalists. It's a public platform. They just have certain TOS about spreading certain pieces of misinformation. That doesn't make them an editorial board.
Although maybe with Grok,
propaganda can influence people, and so you're telling me that propaganda can influence people how they think to vote?
Absolutely can.
Yes, that's exactly
what you're basically saying.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Well, I think it totally can. But do you?
The answer is obviously propaganda can influence people. No shit.
But do you think? Do you guys hang on?
Can influence.
Do you guys think then? Do you recognize that Russia spent a shit ton of money doing ads on social media networks in 2016 that tried to get people to vote for Donald Trump?
Well, if we're going to go that route, do you remember when social media platforms censored the Biden laptop story, knowing that if it would have gotten out, it would actually influence people not to vote for Biden? And we're going to ignore it.
Hang on. Well, are you going to let me respond before you go on the next? If you ask a question and then you start narrativizing over our answers, we haven't responded to it yet, right? With the Hunter Biden laptop, it was. I'm pretty sure that the New York Post article specifically was barred from Twitter for 24 hours, and it was because it had a link to the dick pics, to the pictures of Hunter Biden's giant cock. That's what happened.
And also, just to be clear, the thing that we're drawing the line between is it's comparable election interference to censor a New York Post story for a day as it is to pressure the vice president to break the law to determine that you are the new president. That's equal amounts of election interference here. Just to make sure we tie back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's really funny is that I don't hear a word of you saying how Joe Biden did the same thing with the FBI, telling people to go spy on him like Matt Taibbi. You know, it's funny how you have one standard for one group and the other.
That's true. How is that the same thing?
Because that's the president influencing people to do something that they want them to do. That's basically what your claim is with Trump.
Do you think my problem is the president influencing people for something they want to do, or do you think my problem is pressuring the vice president to break the law to instate you as the president?
It's that one for me.
So you're saying, so you're just saying
You
just
can have a
just
separate
one person
conversation
triggers
about
you.
Matt Taibbi if you want to, but it's a completely separate thing.
The law.
No, it's
You're really
kind of
gonna
the same
appeal to the
thing.
law? Don't appeal to the law. I mean,
It's not kind of the same
Okay,
thing.
okay, well then I won't appeal to the law. I don't think that the fate of the election should be in the hands of the vice president. I don't think that everybody in the state should be able to vote. The state should be able to certify the vote, and then it goes to the electoral college on January 6th, and the vice president says, I don't like this slate of electors. It doesn't get counted. I'm going to count the other slate of electors for the person who didn't win this state.
Or
completely forget about the law. That's also just as bad.
Or especially, it's especially bad if he actually does like the process, and then he goes, oh, I don't want to get hanged, and so he decides to change the result because he's like, oh, I like my neck unbroken.
well, wasn't
I
that
don't
whole-
disagree. Yo, sorry, go on, dog.
Yeah, I gotta go to Little
I
Coder's
don't-
room, but Renyel's got this.
Okay,
I love
right.
you.
I don't know very much about the whole certifying of the election thing. I just, like, from my understanding, I just don't believe that these elections are legitimate. I already said that nobody gets a vote on how we vote, and I tend to not trust anything our government says.
Well, let's go through it then. So, okay. The people voted, right, in their state's elections. It goes to the governor to certify those votes, right? All of these elections were investigated and audited and recounted. The governor certifies the votes. Electors sign on saying, basically, I'm the electors that were elected to represent my state on the electoral college. The governor certifies those. Sends off by a ton of people, state investigators,
do you realize there was a record number of mail-in ballots at that time because of COVID? They said,
yeah.
So this is all just, we should just all believe that this is legit. You're saying because it was very.
Do you have any reason to believe it's not?
I would like more proof from our government that these elections are legitimate.
What kind of proof could they provide to you?
They could provide very clear numbers on, first of all, how many people are voting by in person, with mail-ins, and with drop boxes.
Do you think those numbers weren't clear?
I don't really know. I mean, is there somewhere I can go to find them? I don't really know if I've ever seen anything that's... I think you can get rough estimates, but does our government ever... Is there like a electionintegrity.com, .gov or something that I can go to and it's going to tell me exactly?
So this is kind of the problem that I'm running into, is that you have this kind of blind distrust, and you're asking questions that you never went out of your way to actually go and find, to poke holes in the official narrative, as if there's not like a billion different steps at which the election is certified. Like, so keep in mind that all of the people that Donald Trump was reaching out to change their electors were Republicans. These people had all of the incentive in the world to find election fraud, to change these electors, to try and curtail to Donald Trump, and they all stood on their oath of office to say, hey, listen, I'm here to serve the country, not this fucking weirdo who wants reelected. They had every incentive to do it, but they couldn't because there was no election fraud found. And all of the questions that you're asking are one Google search away, all right? These aren't impossible questions to answer.
I don't use Google. I hate Google.
They're one DuckDuckGo Google search away from you.
Whatever search engine, yeah.
I can give you a direct example where the elections are less legitimate. Let's say California, for an example, or most of the blue states, they have those sanctuary cities. And even in California, it was illegal to show a government ID at the ballot box. So you do have a lot of people who are not even...
Wait.
Huh? Say what?
You need to register to vote with an ID, right?
Yes, and what does that have? So what are you trying to say, that you only need to show your ID once?
If you're not registered to vote, then they're not going to let you vote? Or they're not going to you manage to vote? They're not going to help you vote?
Hold on. Just a second.
No more. Can I say?
Just a second.
No. Let me. I'll do 2 seconds.
Finished.
No more.
Okay.
It needs to end. The mail-ins, the drop boxes, and the no ID. If that all came to an end,
it's a solution in search of a problem. We haven't demonstrated any widespread voter fraud. Why are we using it? Feel uncomfortable to me, so we should decertify the election results. That's insane.
I got I got a question.
Okay.
Which is more? Hold on. I got a question, Ringer. Which is more of a legitimate form of an election? The citizens of the nation voting, or citizens and non-citizens voting? A or B? Which one? Which one would be more legitimate? What? Okay. By that logic, then you have to admit that there is some form of illegitimate voting going on in California where they don't regulate the voter ID. Also, they don't, and the consensus also, hold on, I'm not done yet.
Can we just do one at a time?
I want to focus on this one thing. I want to focus on this one thing. I don't want you to spit out 20 points.
Yeah, hang on. You guys got chill.
So the consensus happens every 10 years. The consensus does not count illegal aliens. You know that, right?
Consensus doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Okay. So
yes, it does. Representation, the House of Representatives. Yeah, it is.
Completely irrelevant to the election results. When California
yes,
does
it
that,
is.
When California
you do not understand what House of Representatives, Article 1.
When California does their elections, do you think they just kind of let anybody walk in and fill a ballot and then they count all of the ballots that they got? Do you think that's how the elections work in California?
When I hear illegal aliens, or ID laws over there, yeah.
It makes sense as to why you think the election processes are so fucked up, because you don't know any of them. So that makes sense, you know. It's kind of like there's some fable where it's like, or some like saying where it's like everyone's terrified of a computer because you don't know what's in it, or some shit like that, or like the black void because it's the fear of the unknown. You know, like if you're super scared and you don't understand how these processes work, instead of just like creating conspiracy around it, why don't you just go learn how the processes work? Like, votes get audited after they're cast as well. If someone's not registered to vote and they have a ballot for the person that's not registered to vote, or they have a duplicate ballot, they're not going to count both of those ballots. They're not going to count people who aren't registered.
Well, it's funny coming from you that don't even know the House of Representatives, how they actually are represented in the congressional district. It's very comical you say that. And then you have illegal aliens actually electing in Democratic cities. It's true.
Can you tell me what apportionment had to do with voting in the 2020 election?
Apportionment meaning?
Okay, so why would you say that I don't know what I'm talking about when you don't know what apportionment is?
No, I'm actually trying to get the actual specific of that definition of what you're referring to in this particular context.
I understand you are. It's okay. Just please don't question my level of knowledge, okay? Apportionment is how many representatives each state gets based off of their population. That's what apportionment is.
Yeah, that's why the Democrats want to get rid of ID laws, so they can actually have more voters, and on their consensus, the more people you have, the more seats you get in the House. That's a big fucking factor. So I am questioning your knowledge here, because you're not even willing to concede that's true, which it is true.
The House goes based off of population, not voters, right?
That's the consensus, dummy. God damn, are you serious, dude? Are you fucking serious?
Okay. All right. Okay. Ryan, where do you find these people?
I've seen videos where people drive up to the drop box and they just throw in 10 ballots. One single person just rolls down their window and just throws in 10 ballots.
You know what was happening in those videos?
Can I say? People go to the ballot.
Wait, before you move on to the next thing, why don't you? Renyold seems to have information about this specific thing, right? So let's hear. Why don't you calm down and let him give his explanation? You don't have to believe. Okay, that's great. You don't have to believe. Stop. You don't have to believe his explanation, but let him give his perspective on why there were 10 ballots being thrown in this box. Okay, I'm curious myself.
Why should I?
Because I'm gonna fucking mute you if you don't. All right? Because I can do this. This is why you're going to. Okay? Because I can stop you from talking, and now Rinyold's gonna have the floor. That's why.
It's gish galloping. That's why. It's just because like giving 20 points all at once, so you don't have time to respond to all of the points, is not a good way to have a conversation.
Move to the box thing.
So what you're referring to, this is something that was litigated because Dinesh D'Souza made a video about, or a movie about it. It was called 2,000 Mules. What happened was a lot of people who live in houses with multiple family members would take all of the ballots from their family members and drop it at the drop box for their family members, so they all wouldn't have to make a particular drop at this ballot box. And Dinesh D'Souza made a video of people, I think they were called ballot mules or something like that. where he filmed this dude doing this exact thing, and then he sued Dinesh D'Souza saying, hey, I was dropping it off for my family, there was nothing nefarious here happening. And then Dinesh D'Souza had to, I think he lost that lawsuit, and the publisher of that movie had to file a public apology to the person because they defamed him. So like the dropping multiple ballots off at ballot drop boxes is literally just so you can drop the ballots off for your family. That's all it was.
And
because
you're
believe it or not, in
allowed to do
2020,
that.
a lot of people didn't want to make a whole ton of trips out to the ballot box. And again, if there were duplicate votes, if there were illegal votes, they get audited. They don't get counted. It's not the case that you just drop your vote off and then it's done and that's counted and that's it. That's the whole reason we have like poll watchers and people who do recounts. That's why it takes so long to get the election results delivered to the news whenever they're tallying up the election results.
It doesn't take that long. It's
All right,
one
are you
night.
finished?
Yep.
It does take that long.
No, it's not. It's a very quick process. In most cases, unless there is discrepancies.
So when people are putting the ballot into the machine and then it auto reads the ballot, why do you think that it's not done?
There's all sorts of like curing the ballots.
Wait.
There's
Okay,
all sorts
hang
of
on. Slow down, guys.
ballots. Do you know? Have you ever heard about
Slow
signature
down.
verification?
Slow down. I want the other, not the
Or so
Dalmatian.
You can't even confirm that these signatures on some of these ballots are actually real. I mean, the signature verification process is a joke.
Okay, Dalmatian dog.
There's so
Before you go on, hey, dog. Chill, good boy.
You can't just
calm
vote
down,
for your
calm
own
down,
family.
calm down, Dalmatian. Okay, I wanted to hear the other guy. I'm sorry, I can't see your name because I'm on streamer mode or whatever on Discord, so I can't actually see your Discord name. But RK, okay, yeah, RK. I wanted to hear your response to Reynolds' explanation of the ballot thing that you brought up. I'm trying to stay on a track here, right? So I just wanted to see, gave you the chance to follow up on that because I know you wanted to.
Fair enough. There's no doubt that Reynolds actually has some points of what he's saying of how the process is going. Unfortunately, it's not happening in select places. He admitted a moment ago that it's more of a legitimate election when the citizens of a country are participating in those elections. And as time is going forward, especially with the current platform of the Democratic Party, we actually had a hearing in the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee. Jim Jordan led it, and it was about it was a hearing about should we. Rainier, did I mispronounce it? Consensus or census? I'm sorry, I get those two mixed up.
Census.
Okay, census.
Consensus.
No, just census. Just census.
Okay, I'm not done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not done. The census. Okay, the hearing was the Republicans want to put a House resolution to make sure that the census are only counted by U.S. citizens, not illegal aliens. But the current format, the census actually includes anyone who is a citizen and non-citizen, whether they're illegal here on a visa, they're counted in that. And that's a really important factor. When you throw on top of that, they're outlawing voter ID laws where it's illegal. It makes it illegal to ask someone's ID to verify that it's an actual person. So they're not trying to get multiple votes in with one person. That right there is speaking to people who are thinking that the elections are less legitimate because of that. And also provisional ballots are actually been shown that it takes a longer process to even certify the provisional ballots. And sometimes they're even counted without the proper credentials to verify the actual ID of the person who's sending the provisional ballots. So as time is going forward with this current platform we're having, you are going to see more unstable election process as we're moving forward, and that's going to be very bad for both sides because now we can't get over the hump that is it's going to be election and accept the terms or not. It's
okay.
We're heading into a dark direction. With this problem right now,
I think that there's a lot of interesting threads to pull there. I'm gonna let Reynolds respond to that, but I do think actually Dalmatian DM'd me, and I appreciate it because this was originally the whole reason we got into the Discord call was for me and Dalmatian to talk, and then you hopped in and kind of turned it into a deep. No, you're fine, Reynolds. Like this. RK hopped in and made it a kind of a 2v1, and so I appreciated you coming in. And in fact, I'd be curious to maybe continue on this conversation at a later date between you two, or if you want, like, I think that'd be interesting to moderate more of that if you're interested, Raniel, but you don't have to, of course.
Okay, can I just ask, for both of you Democrat leftist sort of people, what do you guys want? I mean, what do you want? You want Trump to be... Do you want more taxes on the wealthy, or... I never understand what the hell Democrats want. You want to teach my sons and daughters about the joys of pride and have me pay for all these illegal aliens and everything else. Is that what you want? I mean,
before I answer that, can I answer to what the dude just said?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So yeah, I mean, again, apportionment doesn't have anything to do with secure elections. That's a completely separate problem. When it comes to like voter ID laws, I would probably, in principle, agree with that. But the problem is that we need to make sure that people have a more universal and probably don't need to pay for a form of photo ID before that happens. Because I don't want to make like essentially a poll tax. That's not what I want. There are certain things that you could do theoretically to secure the elections. The problem is that conservatives don't really have a good faith want to do any of these things, because if they actually had a want to do voter ID laws, then it should be really easy to get a concession of saying, okay, and we'll also provide photo IDs to American citizens. I think that's fine. And two, that doesn't mean that we can just throw the election results out. And then as an answer to Dowdog's question, I guess question, literally all I want is just adherence to the process. That's literally all I want right now. I want the laws to stop being broken, and I want people to stop incentivizing the laws being broken. We need to...
You're clinging to the laws, but you do understand the laws. If you ever appeal to the laws, that's a losing argument just from the start. It makes no sense. I mean,
in order to build a productive and functioning society, we need some level of adherence to the law. That's a foundational thing of not having society collapse. If the enforcer in chief, the person who's supposed to be enforcing the laws, is constantly breaking the laws, the country's gonna fucking collapse. That's just how it is. I gotta go get my food. I love you guys.
Yeah, you're good. Thanks
I'll dip out. Make it a 1v1. But
yeah, fair enough. I
appreciate you letting me up for a second.
Absolutely.
And, Dipface or Daldog, if you want to ever have a 1v1 conversation, I'm always open. Or Radical, if you want to moderate.
Yeah, you're all welcome back anytime.
Before you go, I do want to say this. Before you go, I want to say this. The reason why I popped on this panel tonight is because I know Radical Core is on the left, and I understand that he doesn't like Trump and other many things that the left subscribes to. I'm only here to try to find out what he really believes in outside of the Democratic policies. Like him as a person. What is Radical Coder as a person? Mm-hmm. Same as to you. We're going to disagree, but I want to know what kind of a people you are, like what's right for wrong in your morals and so on, Like, in good faith. I'm not trying to, start a war or anything, because we got that too much going on.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate you letting me on, Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can I just say, I don't want anybody to follow the laws. I want people to do what's right. I don't care about the laws. The laws are just made up by somebody. They don't know what's moral at any given time.
Yeah.
Okay, but
the problem is that it's... Sorry.
Yeah, well, like, I think that if we just decide that we're not going to follow laws anymore because we believe things that are, like, we have our own individual morals and we are going to enforce those instead, I think what happens is a lot more chaos, which can be a useful goal if you're actively trying to like bring that system down. Frankly, I think it's nice that the three of us can sit here in our comfortable chairs having this conversation on Discord and not have to worry about knowing that if somebody like breaks in or someone starts to break in my house or something, I can call the police. Obviously there's other ways to take care of it. If my house catches on fire, that I can have a fire department come put out the fire. If I want society to be maintained to some degree, right? And if we say fuck the laws, doesn't matter, we're all going to do whatever we feel is right. I think that there's a lot of things kind of rapidly get pretty bad, right?
It's called "Don't Tread
That's
on Me."
anarchy at the point.
Do you believe in
No,
the "Don't
actually-
tread on me"? Are you Coder? Are you a "Don't tread on me" sort of guy?
I like. I mean, in theory, I understand that. Like, I sort of understand what you're asking. I'm not like a libertarian. Like in the people who usually use those flags, I usually don't. I align with, but I think I have like a libertarian streak in my, like, there's like a lefty anarchist thing I'm sympathetic to, but not like the right wing libertarians. I think they're like, a lot of them are like nutsos.
Oh,
Like
I don't think so, Coder.
like to
I just want our.
I guess to elaborate. Sorry.
To
elaborate on.
Answered what you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I asked you.
I want to.
You want our government to teach my son about pride, and then you want me to pay you a bunch of money so you can have a bunch of illegals in our country? Like, you want me to pay for all the illegals, and then our government will, and Apple and Google.
So first of all, I absolutely want you to give me money. I absolutely want you to give me a bunch of money, and there's super chats and ways you can do this. I highly encourage you to do so. There's also memberships. And you can get these really cute emojis, like we have when it's my puppy. It's a baby Umbreon emoji. It's actually really adorable. There's also an angry Jigglypuff one. It's lots of cute emojis. There's even like a Shrek Care one. But I do want gay people to be allowed to feel comfortable being gay in public and existing in public without being harassed or without their rights to get married to each other being impeded on. I want these things. I want to live in a society where my gay friends can get married, and I think that. People learning about the existence of gay people in our society is going to be better for me, who has gay friends, and for my gay friends to be able to exist comfortably without being, their rights being infringed on. So without being treaded on, we might even say.
Are you gay, trans, or bi? There,
no, I'm completely cis het. Totally straight, not even a little gay, not even a little curious. I'm super straight.
All right,
What?
Well, I agree with you, Ryan. Fundamentally, Ryan, I agree with everything. I do. I honestly do. Gay people are human beings. Love is love.
Our government loves.
Oh my lord!
No, that's all. Our government loves gays. You say gays are the ones getting treaded on, or some BS like that. Biden literally was flying the pride flag around the White House
Based Biden.
Every single
Giga
day.
Chad. What a Giga Chad. He understands.
Companies, it's everywhere. It's blasted in front of you like American.
Okay.
Like, do you realize that you are a gay American? Do you really?
I'm a gay American. Okay, listen.
Yes.
It was 10 years ago. 10 years ago when we legalized at the federal level gay marriage in America. 10 years ago. Okay, this just happened. It's fucking yesterday, basically.
We're not a country of gay. We're not gay, Coder. I don't want our country to be gay.
You don't have to be gay to be proud. Hang on. You don't have to be gay to be proud to live in a country that is okay with gay people, right? I'm not gay, but I want to live in a country where gay is allowed. I prefer to live in that country. I don't want to live in a country where it's not okay to be gay. I think it's a way worse society, and I don't want my government trying to tell two consenting adults who they can have sex with.
It's blasted in your fucking face every single day.
I don't feel like it is to me.
Right, so,
are you serious?
I go to gay bars and I don't even feel like it's blasted in my face. Like I don't know.
Here's my issue with the trans activists at the moment. Okay, I'll go ahead and point everything down. I don't agree with the fact that the drag pedagogy by Lola Hot Mess actually has a manifesto about teaching queer theory to children. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Drag Story Hour. That has nothing to do with the basic principles and liberty of anybody who should be living their life in America.
Pause. Let me hang on. To that Drag Queen Story Hour point, if you're against Drag Queen Story Hour, what you are actually, if you think it should be illegal or whatever, you are actually against the rights of parents to bring their children to a Drag Queen Story Hour, right? Their liberty to do so.
Good point, touche. Moving forward. I wasn't even finished with that.
I know.
We'll hash that one once I'm done. We'll hash that one because.
Okay. I just figured we could go like one at a time, but yeah.
well, this is a very complex, topic here.
Yeah, which is why it's good to break it down into like bite-sized chunks and focus on each specific piece, and that way we're not like arguing like 3 different things at once, right? Wait, I think we can move on from the drag queen story hour. Like that's fine. I appreciated your concession there.
Oh, I am moving on from the drag story hour. I'm moving on from that. I want to say this. It seems that the left. Okay, remember years ago we had conversion therapy, right? People were electroshot or lobotomized for being homosexual or anything outside of the social norm. Okay, so the left got rid of that because it was cruel human punishment, but yet they supplemented their own type of conversion therapy with gender-affirming care for minors. That right there is the biggest one I have the biggest issue with.
Okay, so you're comparing gender-affirming care to sexual orientation conversion therapy. Can you think of one big difference just up front?
One big difference?
Yeah.
One was aimed. Well, the purpose of it. One was aimed to reverse some sort of homosexual tendency, and the other one is to
affirm
basically
those tendencies, right?
Sterilize children.
Okay, one is to affirm the tendencies. One is to try to stop them from existing.
Affirming tendencies. So you're basically going to say that the majority of children that are going under gender affirming care is actually having a severe mental crisis that they need to, or else they're going to die.
Or else they're I don't know, or else they're going to die. But my understanding is that we're actually pretty. The process is actually pretty rigorous at identifying who actually has gender dysphoria, which is why people who tend to go on puberty blockers tend to be the people like the detransition rates of these people are extremely low. Is my understanding. Unless some different data has come out, this is what I've learned. Okay. And so it seems like we do have a pretty good process of evaluating who is actually likely to go down that pathway. So it seems like we are identifying that they are trans and that they do have gender dysphoria rather. And that seems like a good thing if we can identify that and help them alleviate the symptoms of gender dysphoria, which again, if we talking about it in terms of like conversion therapy, we also had conversion therapy for trans people. It was just basically saying, no, you're a boy, no, you're a girl, like basically not ever letting them present in a different way, right?
Yeah, and I think it's and all from both sides. I think it's really fucked up. Leave children alone. That's where I stand. Let the children develop. Oh God, did I lose my rebuttal? Oh, I lost my follow-up comment on that one. Shit.
Fair enough. I do want to give Dalmatian Dog probably if you don't mind wrapping up your just because I know Dalmatian Dog came on. I didn't set up like an open panel today. I brought Dalmatian Dog on to have a conversation and it kind of turned into a 2v2. And I appreciate you coming on. I'd be happy to talk another time, but I think we'll probably finish up our conversation. I'm not going to go too much longer anyway. So if you don't mind wrapping up, and then I can wrap up with DD.
Yep, you have anything else? I think Coder, my whole point is that like I said, I don't trust any of them. Certainly don't trust our government. I feel like they've already gone too far in what I'm willing to accept. And like I said, I don't even trust the election process anymore. I'm very questionable about that. Like with, signature verification and ballots getting cured and that whole thing, and the mail-ins and the drop boxes. And there's people that come to the drop boxes with fucking ski masks on to hide their identity, and that alone makes me kind of a little bit worried the kind of direction that our electoral process is going. So yes, I would like to see more protection for the elections in terms of, he was telling me, I gave him a suggestion to like electionintegrity.gov where they actually show, or they try to give some numbers on the drop boxes, but we should have cameras at the drop boxes 24/7 that the American people are able to monitor, or at least somebody does. I feel like all the drop boxes should have cameras, and the mail-ins, I don't even know if we should really allow that. Even from the jump, I mean, I probably wouldn't if I had my way. But like I said again, nobody gets a vote on how we vote, and the voting in and of itself is just a scam and a hoax in a lot of ways. Because we could vote to do very bad things to other people, but we don't.
We have.
And so it's
historically.
Okay, sure, somewhat. I mean, like I said, you don't even really know what you're voting for. Also, is another problem.
Well, you know who you kind of know who you're voting for, and I mean,
but you not what. I mean, you have kind of a sense of idea of what you're voting for.
Well, you can look at like voting. You can look at the patterns. You can see like if you have a representative, you're considering like voting for back into office, for example. Then they have a history of their time in office, of things they voted on, things they supported, things they advocated for. You can look at that and go, oh, I don't vibe with what they're pushing for. If you want that surveillance at all these ballot boxes, and you can vote for people who want that, right? You could support candidates who are running on those sorts of platforms. Like, you have the opportunity to do that.
Okay, yeah, I accept that I have that opportunity. I think there's not a lot of Republicans that are far enough, like I said, for my liking. So I don't know how many of them are pushing for that sort of thing of like cameras at the drop boxes, so we can just get an idea of really what's going on there. I mean, do you hear years ago there was Republicans that they camp out at the drop boxes? It probably still happens. It's going to keep happening.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Drop boxes and the mail-ins at this level are kind of like a new sort of thing. And so.
I think there was a massive influx in mail-in voting because of like COVID, but I think in general, like, mail-in voting is fine.
Do you realize that
I mail-in voted.
Do you realize that the Republicans feel treaded on by their government?
They absolutely feel that way. Yes, absolutely. I think sometimes in some ways they feel that way justifiably. In other ways, I think you might be having some.
We just want to be left alone by all you like. It's questionable people. We don't want to pay you anything. We don't want to. We're not going to be bossed around by you, and so on. I mean,
I'm not. I mean, do you feel like the things I'm advocating for are bossing you around in any way?
I feel like the Democrats are.
I'm just kidding.
Have, like I said, they've gone too far. They try to control the Republicans to some degree, and like Elon, for example. And these people should just be allowed to build whatever they want, and our government should stand with them and help them.
Are you aware that Elon, when Trump got into office, that Elon or the 7 of the inspectors general that Trump replaced were, at the time of their replacement, they were investigating Elon's companies for fraud and abuse. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, that makes me sad to hear, because Elon pays the most taxes ever of anybody. Do you accept that?
Wait, you say it's sad that they were investigating him for fraud and abuse?
Because I don't think he really does any sort of fraud. Or
what if he was? Okay, what if he was? So let's hypothetically, what if Elon Musk, and this is funny to me, but because of how I feel about Elon Musk, it's funnier to me. But like the idea, let's imagine just hypothetically that Elon actually did do some fraud and abuse, and Elon was actually doing some shady shit, and they were investigating it. And then
proved that our government was guilty of all the fraud and abuse.
Did he?
Yeah, with Doge, yeah, he did.
What?
He did.
What was the fraud?
Yeah.
What was the fraud?
The fraud was giving benefits to people that were 200 years old.
What? How much money went to people?
USAID too.
How much money went?
USAID was fraud too.
USAID was fraud. This congressionally approved funding was fraud.
Just because it's congressionally approved, I don't know if that necessarily means anything.
It literally means that it went through the legal channels to do it. So it's like definitionally not fraudulent.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's my interpretation of how.
So when you say fraud, you mean so to me? Hang on. When you say fraud, you mean things that you don't like were getting funded. That's that's not fraud, right?
Things that the taxpayers wouldn't want, the real American taxpayers wouldn't want funded. If they're spending money on those sort of things, then it is, in my view, defrauding the American people.
What if the American people voted for the people who put these things in place, and they are actually, they continue to vote for those people? They actually don't feel the way you allege they feel.
Well, if the elections are honest, and then, I mean, do you understand that there's not a lot of recourse for the GOP?
They have
Like,
all the power right now. What do you mean? They could literally do all the stuff that that Trump's been doing through a massive influx in executive. Hang on. They could literally do all the stuff that Trump's been doing through executive orders. They have enough people in Congress to do almost all of this shit through Congress, through the legislative branch, and they just weaved it all into one big, beautiful bill, which I'm parodying in my title here. But they've been doing like Trump has done so many a record number of executive orders, but the GOP they don't have their hands tied. They have the majorities. They could do all of these things. What do you mean that you're acting like when you say they have no recourse? I don't know what the fuck you mean. Like what?
The GOP is too nice. The GOP is too nice. They're very much gridlocked, like, with the Democrats. Not like they can come out and say, like, oh, we don't want to share a country with you or whatever, because I mean, Elon wants to keep America going. I guess he's talked about starting his new party. Which is, I guess, that's going to be the future recourse.
Does it concern you? Party. Does it concern you that not only the richest man in the world starting a political party alone should be kind of sussy, but like, does it concern you that he has registered a trademark for the United States of America Incorporated?
No, that doesn't concern me.
At all? Not even a little bit. The richest man in the world.
Do you think he's a bad guy?
Yes.
He paid the most in taxes.
I think he's a really bad guy. Yes, I think Elon is a really bad guy. I think he's an idiot and a really bad guy.
Well, Coder, I want to say something to Dog whenever there's a chance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at how many people look at how many people he's improved their lives. Like, what he's built. Do you think a bad guy would do that?
Dog.
Yes.
You said the Republicans are too nice. Bull fucking shit.
They are.
Anti-abortion, anti-weed, anti-stem cell research. The reversal of Roe v. Wade.
They're treading.
What you're meaning to say is that they're tolerant, and right now they're pushing back on the insane radical left right now. Like, my body, my choice argument. Like, I've been hearing anti-abortion activists, and it's pretty, and it's there's more. I'm seeing an extreme view on abortion. They think that abortion is murdering a baby when it's really. But the point I'm trying to make, though, Republicans has been pushing back, and they're not being too nice. I mean, like, we got Tom Holman. He's actually doing his job and deporting illegal immigrants. You know, like they're. Also, after the second impeachment trial, Mitch McConnell threatened scorched earth because right in the beginning, he said scorched earth. You know, like when we get the pendulum swings, it'll be scorched earth when we get the power back. You know, so it's basically what we're trying to go with is that it's the political system that does not favor the poor. Both sides think that their side is going to fix the problem. For the last 50, 60 years, it's been the same shit. Garbage in, garbage out. You know, culture determines what kind of government you're having. We have a broken culture, therefore we have a broken government. You can disagree with me, but that's what I see right now in our system.
Okay, well, yeah, I totally disagree. I think the Republicans could do so much more to get their... The Republicans could do so much more to get their constituents to live in fear and... like, really, like, push the limit. They don't push the limit. They don't kind of... I mean, MTG kind of does it when she talks about, like, national divorce or whatever, but I would even support legalizing marijuana. I mean, that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really, like, pushing the limit. Every day they could call Google, Apple, and Microsoft a bunch of criminals. They could tell their constituents to never use their products, to don't let their family members use their products, and so on and so on. I mean, they could encourage their constituents not to even talk to the Democrats, not to even listen to what they say.
They kind of do. They kind of do that, actually. That is kind of where we're at. That like the way that the left. I mean, Trump calls like all of it the radical left. All the Democrats are the radical left. They're radical Marxist, fascist, communist. He calls all of them all of the. He calls Joe Biden all of those things. He calls the average Democrat all those things. Like so, I mean, they kind of do, and like the Trump, like the GOP does generally fall in line behind Trump in regards to these things. There's not a lot of pushback on him characterizing the entire left this way, and. I mean, I didn't hear Joe Biden doing that. I heard him talk about specific subsets of MAGA that were like pretty dangerous, which I agree. And Trump just pardoned a shit ton of them who proved they're willing to do violence in his name. So I don't know, man.
I thank God those were good pardons. I did like those pardons.
Have you seen at least two of them have ended up dying by cop because they like went crazy and they got the cops to shoot them basically.
I mean, Coder, like I said, I don't know what the Democrats expect people to do. They expect you to just shut up and just let them cheat in the elections and just take the taxes and take all the.
I expect real evidence that there was the cheating that you allege, and not a bunch of Trump-appointed judges confirming that there wasn't.
You know, here, Radical Coder, let me, if I can, my whole life, liberal, Democrat, raised in a liberal household, Democrat household. 2015, I was a delegate for Bernie Sanders. I was a staunch Bernie supporter. 2015 for the state of Nebraska. And when the DNC happened, Hillary and Bernie, the DNC has the thing. You remember super delegates, right? When they had the supermajority, 2/3 vote of who was going to be the presidential primary for the Democrats for the presidential elections. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Something like that.
Because
I don't know the exact
situation
details, but yeah.
That they pledged to vote for Hillary. That was the moment that I renounced my Democratic status and went to independent because I saw that. I saw it again happening to RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy on the Democratic side. They did the same thing to him as what they did to Bernie back in 2015. Unfortunately, Ryan, the Democratic Party don't even follow their own rules of democracy, yet at the same time they're saying that Trump was a threat to democracy, yet they were, appointing a vice president that didn't even get a vote for the nomination that she ran for. I mean, and again, it speaks to that it's both sides, man. It's just the left is making more noise, but it's both sides. It's not just the left, their identity politics, or the right, Trump this. It's both sides, man. And it gets me in trouble because I call out the bullshit on both sides, and both sides hate me sometimes. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Well, ultimately, the Democrats are just gonna win over the long term. It just seems very obvious to me that. I mean, the CIA. I don't know if they'll let that actually happen because I think all of our elections are like electioneered. That's my view of them. I don't think they're even. I think they want democracy to work, so our elections are the way that they are. They kind of make it work in an artificial way. So kind of a strange way of putting
superficial way.
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I just don't want to be credited on, and Coder didn't really ever answer about the weapons, but.
I mean, I just don't know a lot about it. The mind control weapons that the more you talk about mind control weapons, and the longer our conversation went on, Dalmatian Dog, like I said, I think that if they are out there, they are working on you guys. But
what happens if somebody gets a weapon that's so? I mean, how do you even? Our political process is almost impossible to navigate, and there's. I don't know. I don't think they'll be able to handle it in the future. I don't know who will even make the decisions on weapons. Who makes them now? I guess probably Elon and Trump, and the CIA. I guess handles probably secret weapons. Maybe DARPA, others.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like all of these countries are really getting there in terms of some really scary weapons. I mean, you thought the nuclear bomb was scary, and now we're. However long after the nuclear bomb, 75 years.
I mean, yeah, I think there's the era of like drone warfare basically is going to be really scary. Yeah.
Well, no, it's the era of just secret weapons, literally, that go around and cause you strokes or cancer or something, invisible weapons, or that alter your thoughts or turn you gay, for example, maybe.
Do you think that
God only knows what's out there.
Have you ever felt like maybe you were being targeted by some sort of rainbow drone that's putting thoughts in your head that you are not, you think are immoral?
Just saying, Coder, that there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah,
there's a lot of unknowns out there.
Just something to think about.
We need a strong man to guide us forward, especially at this point in time. Do you not think we need would you say we need a strong man as president? Would you agree with that, or?
If we do, it's not Trump. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say we need a strong man. We need a strong leader. Sure. I mean, to some degree, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't feel like we're at especially with AI now, we're at a very important time in history?
I definitely think we are. Yeah. Which is why I would have preferred someone much more qualified and way less corrupt, like Kamala Harris, to be president. But unfortunately, the American people, yeah, and he made a fucking mess of it the first time, yeah. and Trump too is so much worse.
Trump is not that bad.
He's pretty bad, dude. He's a pretty bad guy. He's a pretty fucking bad guy.
He's an insane idiot at times, but he's not that bad.
Is it him that's so bad?
He's an insane idiot at times.
I think he's a.
Sorry, go on.
He's like a he's an egomaniac, and he's I think he does genuinely kind of want to be king. Like.
Okay, do you think it's him or do you think it's his followers?
I think he recognizes that his followers are useful to his narcissistic goals. And that's why he doesn't. He takes advantage of these people who follow him blindly.
King? Why? I guarantee
you.
You don't think he's gonna leave office after these? You don't think he'll leave office after these 4 years?
I mean, he tried not to leave office the first time he was out.
Well, that's because he got BS'd. I mean,
allegedly, yeah, but without even though everyone around him, even the people even the people who. Like, he was supposed to trust in general, were telling him, no, you actually, you lost, dude. And he's like, well, I'm never going to. He's still never admitted it.
So you genuinely fear that Trump will stay in office in after these 4 years?
I think it's possible. I think what's more likely is that he will try to make sure that whoever takes over is somebody who he has, he has leverage over. Like, if he, assuming, I mean, Trump's old and getting crazy. Yeah, like a crony, someone who he can post something on Truth Social, and that person will echo it, and that person will do whatever specific things he's pushing for. Like, whatever he thinks, basically, the shadow president they all accuse Joe Biden of having. Like, that's what he would like to be, yes.
So he'll just run.
Ryan, I will say this, though. I know you despise Trump, but I will say this, ever since he had that assassination attempt at Butler, Pennsylvania, he did have some sort of a change of heart on something, because the Trump now is not the same Trump back in 2015 where he was a little crazy. He has mellowed down a lot. You may not see it, but he has mellowed.
Well, he's old. He's old. Yeah, he's getting old, and also he has a much more. They have a very specific, coordinated plan to slowly transform the government. And they actually wrote a book about it. It's called Project 2025, and they've been slowly and actually quite rapidly implementing that plan that Trump pretended not to know anything about. Maybe he didn't know anything about it. He certainly knew that the people he was putting in positions of the United States. God, what's the fucking guy? There's the guy who wrote the second chapter of Project 2025 is in charge of the budget, in charge of budget and management in the United States right now. But we could pretend that Trump had no idea that these people who were involved in this, are the Heritage Foundation people who wrote this plan for what they would do if they got a Trump-like figure in office, and he starts doing all of the exact things that were outlined in this. They have a very specific plan to transform the landscape of the government, and they're doing it. Vought, yeah, Russell Vought.
I got two questions, Radical.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Agenda 2030 and Project 2050?
I've heard those phrases, but I don't know too much about those specifically.
Okay.
What are they?
I was just asking because it's basically set points in history where catastrophe is going to happen, and that I don't know much about it at the moment, but Agenda 2030 is supposed to be something where there's like a massive government collapse or some shit like that.
Well, at this rate, it's certainly possible.
Well, I would definitely say that, let's say that Trump does see fruition on the entirety of the Agenda 2025, Project 125. That would basically be an advent to Agenda 2030.
Sure.
Like...
This big, beautiful bill is probably going to set the stage for a lot of this stuff, too.
Well, that's what pissed off Elon, because he was like, dude, what the fuck you're doing? We're supposed to save money, and you're spending. And that's also, remember earlier I said something about, like, there's a little bit of a battle going on within the Republican Party because he's not, fulfilling some of his campaign. That's one of the issues, too, that they're fighting over. It's like, dude, the fuck? You were supposed to be cutting, it's... Oh God!
Yeah, I appreciate that. There are some people who are vaguely principled in the Republican Party, and they're upset because they like the people who are not in on the people who are not in on the joke, right? Like the people who don't know that Trump is lying, or who thought that like Trump was being honest with them, and there's a bunch of other people who know he was lying, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, he should be lying. That's how we win." Like it's good that Trump is a liar because that's what we need. We need a liar who will lie for our side, for our stuff.
Yeah, but Trump isn't the only one that did that. You can say that now because he's the president, but he's not the only one. That.
Bye, D-Dog. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to have a 1v1, but I appreciate you coming on anyway. All right, let's wrap up because I'm getting tired.
Fair enough.
Final thoughts, final memes? What you got for me? Questions?
Well, I'm just going to say I actually enjoyed having a chance to get to speak with you, and I hope I get to know more about you instead of your,
sure.
I just like to know what makes you tick, But I do care about
Monster Zero.
Americans. I care about every. Huh?
Monster Zero, the white monster cans, those things. That's what makes me tick mostly.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. But no, I care about America, and I'm just really concerned with the direction we're heading and the direction we've been going. And I hope people ask themselves a very serious question. What is it going to happen tomorrow that I can make a better world for today, And that would be it.
Yeah, I think that's probably good advice. All right. Well, I'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure. I'll be around. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
You too, babe. Wow. What a journey that was. How we doing? How's the chat? Common Good says, anyone see Donald J. Trump gotcha'd? Gotcha'd. Of course. Okay, sorry. Over Hegseth stopping weapons to Ukraine without White House knowing. Totally not in charge. He's totally just decorating. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who have their hand on the wheel, like Stephen Miller and Hegseth and like all these people that Trump appointed. And now he's I guess he's starting to like reap the consequences of having all those people in charge, and instead of necessarily doing everything he wants. It was okay, Renyald. I mean, my ears are blasted because I couldn't keep the volume, the volume issues. So I think I'm realizing how dizzy I made myself from having those voices all blasting in my ear for the past hour. But honestly, like towards the end, it was a fairly cordial conversation. I don't know. I hear a lot the things those guys were saying. I hear from a lot of people, and it's often very frustrating because you don't know who like sincerely believes those things and who's just like pushing them. I think that those guys like truly believed all the things they were saying. Fizz in my cup, swimming good love. It was you at the club, miss your touch. Go again, baby, what's up? Nothing feels right, so let's mess up everything.